Hello everybody, today we're going to take a look at a Mercedes Benz tractor package. It's version 1.0 from the mod author Unguided BMOdding, and there is a lot of stuff to talk about. This is actually a very complete mod pack, but a lot of the stuff is in German, so I spent some time actually translating stuff from German. So we'll start off with the basic tractor. It comes in at 1300. It is actually listed in the tractor pack. Right here it is. Base price of $100,000. This is all the standard run-of-the-mill stuff, okay? So no front load attacher. The standard engine is 155 horsepower. Standard wheels, all that stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's $100,000. So what does $100,000 buy you? Well, $100,000 buys you IC controls for the sunroof. Left and right doors and the windows work. Front window. Do the left door here. And the rear window. And pop that open so we know what it looks like from the outside. Okay, you also get the option to hit R with the open and closed on the bottom there. And it can open and close the door. So for all you role-playing guys, that's it right there. That's the good stuff. The model is done very well. It has dynamic hose support. Everything lines up. The hitch lines up. It's just a really good model. You even get the little bar for your front here whenever you go to hook it up. So all that is hydraulic and everything. So we'll move down the line. Okay, the first option that we have is the back loader for $800. And what this does is it puts a front loader attachment on the back. So you can hook up to any standard front loader and it just be rear facing, which is also nice because you can do this. You can change your driving direction with left control and B, okay, and it swivels everything around. And boom, you're facing the way of your front loader or your implement or whatever you need to have that away. And it is third viewable there, so that's plus $800 for that one. Next setup is the just regular front loader. Again, it's $800. Nothing special there. It's a front loader attachment. Okay. This next one here, the Prestige, or whatever it is for platform. And what that does is it attaches this looking grid over the back. That's the only thing I could figure it does. It's the only difference between all these. It takes out this panel and puts in these bars. I don't know what it serves. I've tried to, put like a couple things back there. I didn't get anything to work, but that's what it does. Okay, this next one's for the forest, and again, it's supposed to be for a crane for the forest, but all it does is remove that diamond plate panel from the middle. It doesn't add anything else that I've been able to see to the rest of the tractor. So I don't know if you have like the BioBelts crane, if it's like extra room there or what for that. But that's what it does in the game. Okay, the next option we have here for the wheel setup is the Terra Tires, the first step. So we go to standard, the $350 set. This is the difference between the standard wheels and that $350 set. They're a little bit taller. They're still Trelleborg, or however you want to say that. And I think they're a little bit, they're just a shade taller, so they're taller and wider, so they're 540/65s. Next up from that is a $500 Terra tire. None of these are listed with differences, so we'll just go off the price. So these are the $500 ones. They're a little bit shorter than normal. The wheel size and everything like that is the same, so it's just a different kind of setup. The next option here is $1,000. And it's a super wide one. This would look kind of kick-ass. So, yeah, a little bit shorter, but a lot wider. Now we're moving on to narrow tires. This one's $600. and is the standard look, just a little bit skinnier tire. So that's the one for 600. Okay, these are the narrow tires for 800. They are super skinny and very tall, so good for a sprayer setup in like a high crop or something like that. And it also widths, like the width on it is very, very wide compared to the standard setup. You get like an extra brake knuckle there, or they're just flipped around, one of the two. The last option is $700 for narrow tires. They're the same model as the taller ones. They're just a little bit shorter. There's nothing extra there. All right, the next option we want to talk about here is the design for the Terra tires. I couldn't find any difference. I didn't know if it was going to change them from, you know, you've got like the Nokian, Michelin, Trelleborg, those kind of things. I tried out all 4 of them, and they all look exactly the same. They're the same height, width, same wheel size. So I don't know if this selection is broke or not, but I'm just letting you know, in my game here, I wasn't able to find a difference between all 4 of them. They go from 0, 250, 500, 450, and 700. I thought it would be, you know, like Nokian or whatever, or maybe double triples, but nothing changes there. Okay. The next thing we want to talk about is this one, the it's a telescoping mirror. So it's the big wide mirrors. Okay, it's plus $350, and here's what it looks like. It's this one here. So the mirror, instead of being down here, is up on the cab. Okay, this next one here, the Edelstahl Auspuff, it's your muffler. It's a different kind of muffler, okay? So instead of having a muffler, it's a straight pipe. It doesn't change the sound or anything like that. Your last option is both of them together for $150, so you get telescoping mirrors and the muffler delete. So that's set up right there. Alright, the next thing we're going to take a look at is the motor setups, and the reason we're actually going to look at them is it changes the body of the truck. I know that sounds really, really weird, but it does. So the basic motor is not turbo that I am aware of. Okay, so it's just a 1300. So this is the 1300 turbo, and here is the options. This one here is plus $5,000, and you go up to 155 horsepower, and it changes the nose cone of the truck, adds a different decal, and changes the fender colors over to green. The next one is a 1400, so we're stepping up in our displacement. It's $10,000. It gives you an extra 10 horsepower on top of the other turbo one. This one is turbo, and it gets the different front end and the different fenders. The next one is a 1500 turbo for $15,000. It boasts 175 horsepower, and it looks like this. It's got the standard front end, but a 1500 decal and normal fenders. The next one is a 1587, $20,000, 175 horsepower. So you don't gain any extra horsepower. You gain a different colored front end and fender. So we're stepping up the power again to the 1600. It's 185 horsepower for $30,000 extra. And it gets a different front end and all that fun stuff. So different front end, different color fenders. The biggest motor is the 1800 BJ91. It's an extra $50,000, and it's 205 horsepower. And you get a fancy intercooler sticker, different front end, and green fenders. Okay, now I don't know why this is in engine setup, but it's plus $67,000. It's WF track. It's for forestry. Okay, so it's like a forestry tractor. It's 185 horsepower. It has the 1600 turbo motor in it and a different front end. But it gains the cage, the front weight, so you don't have a like front lift on the front like you do the rest of the tractors. You get the cage, a little crane area there. The back end is completely redone. Your fuel tank is moved up here, or air tank. One of the two. It's a tank. It's moved up there instead of down here. The tank design and step designs are all different. As you can see, this is our tank and step design on that one, and it's what we saw on the other side there. The inside is exactly the same. You got a collision error with the rear window. I wish it didn't open. That is it for the forestry one. Now, I don't know why it is in the engine pack. I thought maybe the forestry, that option here, take a look. The forest option would change something about this. So I've bought this thing in all the different ones, and it doesn't change any other thing about it. So if you guys find something that it changes, please let me know, and I'll be sure to try to correct the video. Okay, this is it for dynamic hose support and PTO attachment. All the hoses get hooked up like they're supposed to. We've got our glad hand for our air here, our power for our lights, hydraulic in and out, and a secondary air. I think, see, in America it's blue and red. So I think yellow is yellow service and red's your emergency. The PTO hooks up where it's supposed to. The ball hitch goes exactly where it's supposed to, which is a nice thing to see. So yeah, all that stuff works. Alright, so now we'll take a look at the performance of the vehicle, first with the bump test. So going across this sidewalk here. I don't think the tractor has rear suspension at all, so maybe that bump is okay, but I think it should be a little bit heavier in the rear. Okay, here's our first plow test with the Lemken Titan 11. It requires 240 horsepower. We have the tractor at max spec with wide tires at 205. So we've got this spec here, 205 horsepower, and the wide tires. So the total tractor cost is $151,000. Okay, now the Titan 11 working mile per hour is 9 miles per hour, and we're only hitting 6, but we're 40 some odd horsepower, or 35 horsepower short from it's recommended, and it is pulling us a little bit, so that's always kind of nice to see. Next up, we have the Big Bud Pack, the Gregory Benson SPSL9, requires 550 horsepower with a working mile per hour of 9. Now the reason that we do this is to see how much it holds back, to see if it's kind of balanced. Okay, it is able to pull it at 1 mile an hour. Now, there's a difference between this and the Unimog I done yesterday, okay? The Unimog at max spec, if we take a look at it, because I have it's still installed, with a 1600 is only 160 horsepower. So this is 65 horsepower more, and a tractor that weighs more, and it costs $104,000 more than what this does, is having more trouble pulling it. So I'm going to say that this tractor is decently balanced. Okay, so again, we're only able to get up to 1 mile an hour. I think that's pretty decent for what we're trying to do. And as you can see, it's pulling it out of line. I'm holding W. I don't do these tests with my steering wheel. The steering wheel is actually off. So yeah, it's pulling it out of line. It's doing the correct thing that it should be doing. So I think it's pretty well balanced for the game. Okay, now we'll take a look at its dirt mask and see how it looks when it's completely dirty. Tires are starting to show. Okay, I like this. A lot of people, they just make the whole thing dirty. That's not what tractors and everything look like. There's mud just splashed up on certain areas, and the rest of the tractor will actually stay pretty decently clean. And I kind of wish we could have a blacker mud mask, because at least here in the United States, every tractor I've ever seen, they either get dusty or they get a very, very dark kind of dirt covered on them. Our dirt out here is very, 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 very darkly colored, so that may be a part of it, but you never see them covered in mud. They're just either extremely dirty or they're clean. I mean, you know, either they take care of them or they don't, but you can tell the one that hasn't been washed in 2 years. You know, it's not covered in mud. You know what I'm trying to say. So I think this is a very, very good look. And yeah, that's what it looks like when it's dirty. So that's it for the Mercedes Benz tractor package version 1.0. If you've got any kind of questions about the pack, please let me know down in the comments. If you like it, hit like. If you dislike it, hit dislike. And if you have something you would like me to review, please send me a message or leave it down in the comments. Thank you everybody for watching, and have a nice day.